Hello and welcome back to Helluva Podcast. My name is Alex.
And I'm Audie, the O's silent bitch.
And today we're talking about a lot of stuff.
Hopefully.
So we have to finish up the circus, which we really tried to do in 2 episodes, but that did not happen.
We tried so hard. We should have known better.
This might be a shorter episode, just talking about the rest of that. We might dip into Seeing Stars, we'll see.
Yeah, we have notes prepared for the rest of the circus and then all of Seeing Stars. So depending how long it takes us to get through the rest of the circus, we'll basically determine if we get to Seeing Stars at all. So we're kind of playing it by ear. You'll see in the episode title, I guess. So you'll know already.
But do you want to talk about why we might get interrupted?
Yeah, so, we were just at our, college's sex fair, which is a really cool thing, actually. Like, all jokes aside, it's like, they have, like, protective, like, condoms and dental dams for free, and, like,
and it's sex positivity and
sex positivity,
things.
A bunch of, like, trans and, like, just general LGBT, like, stickers and, like, resources.
There was also, like, tucking and binding stuff.
Yeah, it's really freaking cool, and they had free shirts. I'm wearing mine right now.
Yeah.
There's a raffle going on, that we entered, and if you win, you get a $50 gift card to a sex toy, store, basically.
Yeah, but you have to go back at 4:00 to redeem it, if you're chosen for it.
If you're chosen, you have to be there.
Yeah.
There are other prizes, but you have to be there if you want to receive the, that gift card, because that's the biggest prize, so... it is 3:12 right now, so we might pause, and if the audio cuts, that's why.
And we'll say, hey, we're gonna pause, and hey, we're gonna come, hey, we're back.
Yeah, but it won't really make a difference to you. It'll just be a split second.
But I also thought, given the context of the show and the podcast, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, we just wanted to keep you in the loop.
All right, let's hop right into it. Hop?
Yeah, let's hop, jump.
Easter reference. Anyway.
Alright, so we left off at the now time skip in the circus, where it cuts to Stolas doing Depressed Moan Part 2, laying on the floor next to his sad fucking plants.
Yeah, I did floor in a capital F, because he's on the floor.
He's on the floor. Shorty get low.
What? And this is a callback, or I guess like a parallel to, this is not the note I thought it was. Callback to how he felt miserable before Blitz came back into his life, and how Blitz is making him feel miserable now.
Yeah. Because we saw the first Depressed Moan at, prior to reuniting with Blitz.
Yes.
He wakes up and he's like, oh, my wife is horrible and my life is terrible. And then he meets Blitz, but now, present day, still depressed, things are rough. He's also passed out drunk, and then wakes up hungover, possibly still drunk, depending how long it's been. And this time skip part, this is chronologically right after Ozzy's.
Yes, and it means it runs parallel to Queen Bee.
Yes, which is crazy. Because I really hope we said on the podcast before Queen Bee dropped our theories of, Stolas is having, his little breakdown, and Blitz is probably having his own little breakdown.
Yeah.
I feel like we had that thought, and I hope we vocalized it on the podcast.
Me too. I don't know if we did, just because by the time we got to that part,
Queen Bee dropped over the summer?
Yeah, but when we recorded, we didn't have to circle back to Queen Bee, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
In the timeline of the podcast, so I don't know if we did, but that was something we had lots of conversations about.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
Yeah. He also has smeared makeup, which is so fucking sad.
Yeah, he was crying.
The fact that he put on his nice, mascara for Ozzy's.
He had eyeliner, and that's what's dripping.
Yeah, and then it's all smeared. That's so sad. He got all dolled up.
Yeah. I'll be ready in 20. 20 was just to put the makeup on and get dressed.
Yeah, homeboy takes a handful of happy pills. That's not how drugs work.
Yeah, it's definitely not a dose, and not an exact amount. He just blindly takes it. And it has the "this will either kill me or fix me" mentality to it.
Honestly, me taking my antidepressants, which I just realized I have not done today.
I haven't either. All right.
Yeah. So then he starts looking through pictures on his phone, which also is exactly what Blitz does at the end of Ozzy's.
Yeah.
They truly just have, like, the same kind of fucking night.
Yeah. They should have just been together. It would have been the same.
Yeah.
It would not have been the same if they were together, but...
He even offers, like, he's like, I still have some wine. We could, like, cuddle and drink wine. That would have been such a better time.
Yeah. I mean, they both got drunk.
Yeah. Like, not that either of them should be drinking, but they should have done it together. If they were going to.
And if they were together, I feel like every single anxious thought in their brains would not be happening. Because they'd be like, don't you hate me? No.
Yeah. God, literally one conversation. One like,
structured... Like, if they...
Couples therapy.
I was gonna say couples therapy, but if they even sat down with, like, Moxie.
Yeah.
Or, like, a single person who's, like, experienced a healthy relationship.
Osmodeus?
They need to have Ozzy therapy.
Ozzy could fucking fix them. They go on a double date with Fizz and Ozzy, and they're like, oh, this is what communication looks like.
No, I need Ozzy to, like, see them interact once, and then, a double date, because Fizz saying, like, one non-sarcastic thing now that they are friends, like, and not in the same, like, way that they were in that cage.
Yeah.
Like, if he said all the things he said in that cage now, I feel like it would fix Blitz.
Yeah. Yeah, like, Fizz is just like, I wasn't just trying to, like, pull on your dick or anything.
Yeah.
Like, I think Stolas genuinely cares about you. Blitz will be like, what?
What?
Shut the fuck up.
He'd be like, that's fucking crazy. I literally almost burned you to death.
Yeah.
And then Fizz will be like, wait.
He stops talking to him for another 15 years. Cannot accept that someone genuinely cares about him.
The stupid dude.
Stupid. Anyway, Blitz is looking through pictures. We see the pictures on his phone. There's one with the Aussie sign. Apparently, we wrote these notes so goddamn long ago.
It's like a picture, I think, of them, or maybe just of, like, the bar, but you see, like, the top of the Aussie sign, and he immediately scrolls, so you can't see the full picture.
And then there's this one, it's a picture of Blitz in bed. Am I remembering it's, like, Blitz is kind of, like, hiding his face from the picture? Is that what it is? Or, I'm not...
Let me see. No, so this is the one, he is sitting on the edge of, or, like, the side of the bed, like, feet on the ground, barely on the bed kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Stolas's hand is, like, on, like, where his hairline would be almost.
Yeah. I'm pulling it up on my phone. I need to see it.
It seems like either he is just being really, like, possessive almost, and, like, being, like, which is weird and feels uncomfortable. Or he's pulling his head up to take a picture, because we know canonically Blitz doesn't like pictures of his face.
Yeah.
I could see that more so being the case. But also Blitz has his arms crossed, and he looks so annoyed, possibly even mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing I wrote too is maybe he's, like, keeping him down on the bed, which is also uncomfy. But my big theory is that he's pulling his face up to take a picture, which also isn't great.
I'm pulling it up right now, but I just noticed that on the Happy Pills, like, it says Stolas' name, like, to indicate that it's a prescription drug. But I just love that it just says Stolas. Not Stolas Goetia, or Prince Stolas of the Arts Goetia, just Stolas. I'm pulling up the picture now. It kind of looks like he's ruffling his head, almost. Like, if he were to have hair.
Yeah.
It does look... It's a weird image, for sure.
It made me really uncomfortable. That's all I know.
And then the next one... Oh, it's a picture of a horse that Blitz drew. That's
but before we get to that, two notes about that picture. One, they're fully clothed, meaning that it's probably either before they've done anything, or, like, way after.
Yeah.
It's not, like, during an intimate moment, which I feel like is important.
Yeah, and it's definitely not, like, right after sex. It is after, because it's we've seen them after sex, and it's, like, Blitz has his stupid little vest on and nothing underneath. Yeah. This is, like, full, like, normal clothes.
like IMP outfit almost, like his office outfit.
Yeah, he's in uniform.
Yeah, and then, just regardless of the context, it seems, like, either forceful or condescending, so not great either way.
Yeah, it definitely feels like kind of the epitome of their issues as a dynamic on Stolas' end. Yeah. And
then, yes, go ahead about the horse.
Yeah, there's a drawing of a horse, definitely drawn by Blitz, that Stolas has a picture of. The horse has wings, I'm just noticing.
Yeah.
And also, there's a pencil in the background that is clearly chewed, and if Blitz is a pencil chewer, that so checks out.
Yeah. Is this, the one that might be Stolas, or is this a different horse?
It looks like a Blitz horse to me.
Well, I'm saying might be
of
Stolas.
Oh, that might be
his horse Sona.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
And then there's a picture of Blitz, like, in a hoodie, a horse hoodie.
Yeah, horse hoodie.
And it looks like they're watching TV or something, because there's, like, a light emanating from the side, and Blitz is, like, in a hoodie, like, propped up, looking kind of bored and, like, annoyed, probably thinking self-deprecating thoughts, but still this is probably like, man, he hates hanging out with me.
Yeah, but also notice that Stolas found this opportunity to take a picture probably because Blitz doesn't like them.
Yeah.
So it's, like, very much like Blitz is not aware that he's taking a picture of him.
Yes, very much.
Which also is a little icky, but also I feel like that does happen in relationships. I, like, mainly think of, like, angsty teenage relationships. That's kind of the vibe.
Babe, stop! I was ugly today.
yeah, that's kind of the thing. And then also, I'm wondering if this is aftercare.
Like them just watching TV together, or them chilling,
And they're also in the living room. They're not in the bedroom.
Yeah, they're like clearly on a couch. The couch we've seen him watch the Helluva.
Yeah,
Do you think they're watching the Helluva?
Maybe that's why he was like, all right.
He's like, oh god, Gabriella fucking again with this bullshit.
I like to think that they watched the Helluva at Stolas' house, and then, like, the first time that Stolas ever goes over to Blitz's house, they watched the ponies.
Yes. Oh my god. And then the last picture, it's a selfie that Stolas took where Blitz, it's not another, like, secretive one, like, clearly, like, Blitz would know this one's being taken, but he, again, does not look happy about it. And yeah, knowing that, like, Blitz does not like himself in picture, like, we've seen him literally
cross himself out.
He's crossed out of every picture in his house, which is so many pictures. But to Stolas, and in this moment especially, it probably just seems like, oh, he doesn't like me. Like, he's looking at all of the pictures he has of Blitz, and he doesn't look happy in any of them. And it's probably, like, mostly related to the fact that a picture is being taken in the first place.
Yeah.
And, like, otherwise just him thinking Stolas doesn't care about him, but to Stolas it's like, oh, he's not happy when he's around me.
Right, and also Stolas thinking, too, that, like, he might be like, oh, he doesn't like taking pictures with me. He's embarrassed to be with me. And just, like, that whole spiral of thought.
But then that, like, Stolas thinking Blitz is embarrassed to be with him, coupled with at Ozzy's when Stolas hides behind the menu, like, he's embarrassed to be with Blitz.
Yeah, dude.
Fucked up.
Yeah. I also, the other thing, too, of why Blitz might feel uncomfortable with pictures. We know pictures in general, but it might be like an extra layer with Stolas specifically, is because he feels like a trophy or, like, objectified with him anyway. Yeah. And so, like, him taking pictures, he's like, oh, gross, that feels gross.
Yeah. He doesn't recognize that to Stolas. I mean, not Stolas does, like, objectify, like, the, you know, impish little play thing. Yeah. Like, obviously that is, like, fucked up and gross on his part, but also to Stolas, it's probably the pictures are just like, I like spending time with Blitz, I want to document this, but Blitz doesn't read it that way, which is totally fair.
Also, the objectifying and fetishizing comments, I feel like Stolas doesn't realize their effect because he has so much class shit in his brain, and then also, like, he probably thinks of them as equal terms of endearment. Which also makes me wonder what he's been called. But also, another thing too, we've explored obviously a lot about how Blitz hates himself point blank, but
of course.
There's also the aspect of, like, when someone hates a picture being taken of them, there is usually some kind of piece with their physical looks that they don't like, and so, like, body image issues and just, like, that kind of thing, which, like, that makes sense. But, like, I don't think it's something we've talked about yet with Blitz.
With Blitz, I don't know if it has been, or if it is something we've talked about. Has been. The issue of body image in the show in general is so interesting because the show itself makes so many fat jokes, which is not good, and it's icky.
You know those TikToks where they say, like, if this is what your favorite character says about you, and then there's always a character that they go at. That's me at Bibsy when the fat jokes.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see if the show goes in any kind of direction like that, because it's not very self-aware if it does. Or maybe if the fat jokes are meant to culminate in an arc of some sort, but that doesn't really seem like what
it doesn't seem like it.
If that is the case, then it's not done very well.
Yeah. I think also, like, this, we're not going to talk about Has Been that much, but the Has Been, a big issue we have with Has Been is that it takes itself too seriously, but then also is really campy in some aspects. And those two cannot coexist in some of the issues they talk about.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's kind of how that, like, if I had to pick a thing in Helluva that has that dynamic, it would probably be, like, self-image.
Yeah.
As a whole, not even just body image,
Yeah,
but just,
totally.
like, all the jokes made, and then also having that be such part of the arc.
Yeah.
I feel like they
You
can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say something. I don't remember what it was. I was gonna say something about the body image and because they do go into it in a very positive way, sort of with Fizz, because that's more of like a disability thing.
Yeah, which they do like surprisingly
well. And I want to see even more of it, just because of how fucking amazing it is. But yeah, they go into that in the musical special, especially, like, when he's like, this is what I am, and, you know, making those comments.
Also and fuck you still, but I'm not broken.
I'm not broken, yeah. So good, yeah. Sorry, Crooked, the song from Helluva, is kind of like Loser Baby if it was good.
If it was good, yeah. No, I have individual problems with Crooked Heart or Crooked Love or whatever the fuck it's called. I think that even that could have been better done, but it is so much better than Loser Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you gotta pick your moments for the romantic duets, Vivzy.
Yeah.
And general Spindlehorse team. Like, you gotta Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Context. Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on from that.
The last picture?
We already talked about that one. It's the same picture, but they do.
Oh yeah, sorry. The notes made me think it was otherwise.
No, yeah, and then.
But yeah, they do zoom in, and I think that just says what you already said.
Yeah.
Of Stolas like looking closer, and being like, yeah, he hates me.
Yeah. And now we get to the fucking
gay little ballad, as we call it. Also, I've noticed that a lot of you don't watch from the beginning of our podcast. I've been noticing that like people are coming from other podcasts and things like that. That's what I've seen in the Q&A comments, at least. Or that like people will say like, oh, I've watched like so-and-so episode. So if you are ever confused about things we reference, the gay little ballad is, what's that actually called?
Stolas Sings.
Stolas Sings.
Or Stolas' Lament or something
like
that. Yeah.
And we just had, because there is when...
There's also Look My Way Now.
Yeah. And also, I feel like when we first started calling this Owl in a Cage, there wasn't an official song title.
I think it's always been called Stolas Sings.
Yeah, but it wasn't like on Spotify or anything. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah.
It was like...
It's not technically on Spotify now.
Is it not?
Not officially.
Oh, okay. But there is like a not podcast version, like an actual song called Stolas Sings.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what this is. What I'm saying is we've referenced Gay Little Ballad in like every fucking episode. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Stolas' theme also, like the instrumental, which we'll talk about. Yeah. I thought I had something else to say. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, this is maybe my favorite song in the show.
It's a good one.
I don't know if that's still true, because there's been a lot of music just in the past few episodes.
I think instrumentally this one might be my favorite, just because it's the theme, and it really, like... Oh, not instrumentally, I guess, like, story-wise.
Yeah, it's a very great character song. And... Yeah, it's really solid. It's very short, too, so it's like the perfect length. Like, I listen to it, and I just want to keep playing it over and over, whereas, like, if I listen to 2 minutes notice or something, I'll play it, and then I'm like, alright, I'm good for a little bit, you know?
It's also not repetitive, like, at all, even though it follows a very strict format.
Yeah, which we'll get.
Yeah, but it has a lot of story and a lot of, like, the arc is in the song, and it's, like, boom, done. And then the scene that follows it, it's, like, such a good transition. It's so clear.
Yes.
Like, this whole part, like, that we're going to be talking about in this episode is just so good.
Yeah, I think this whole, like, the present day section of this episode is really what solidifies this as possibly at least my favorite episode in the show. I think it's just so solid overall, extremely well done, and it's the premiere of season 2, so like it had to be this solid, and it's just really good. It's so good.
Given that there's like new, like I honestly think that the episodes are just getting better and better.
Oh yeah.
Like very quickly.
With a few exceptions.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But like what I'm saying is that I feel like the quality is improving very rapidly.
Yes.
And so I am timid to say it's my favorite as well.
Yeah,
but
true.
This is definitely like top 3.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think Yeah, we should do a, like, whenever we have the time to do bonus content, we should do, like, some tier lists with, like, we rank episodes, we rank songs, we rank characters.
We could definitely do something like that, and you guys can let us know which one you prefer. We could definitely do something like that, in Ko-fi or Patreon kind of episodes, but also...
Sorry, go ahead.
Also, sorry, I had to burp.
Okay.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Ko-fi, Patreon.
Yes, also during the Q&A episode, we do have a good amount of questions already, but if we have extra time, we could do like a quick rapid fire, like one tier list.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Totally. Or even a mix of both. One tier list in the Q&A and then be like, hey, you want more tier lists? Head over to our Ko-fi or Patreon or whatever one we decide to do. Probably Ko-fi.
Okay, actually, we don't need your feedback. We're going to do that.
Yeah, but I was going to say, which I think we'll get into this properly at the end of this episode, but tomorrow, as of when this is being released, we are doing a merch drop.
Yeah, we have official merch.
We have some stickers.
We have some stickers for you guys.
That's it for now.
Yeah, but if there's a lot of interest for the stickers... we're gonna definitely do other stuff. We are just starting with just stickers though, just because monetarily we can't afford to drop merch with the chance that it won't be bought.
Yeah.
So if you guys sell out these stickers, we'll definitely come up with some other stuff.
Yeah. And we're opting to ship them out ourselves because we wanted to be able to set the prices pretty much however we want to.
Yeah.
As opposed to ramping up the prices a bunch, and then also so that we can include little personalized messages and stuff.
So we're gonna give little notes and stuff. I think there is an option too to add comments to your purchase, so if you want to let us know, like, I know we have some younger viewers and stuff, so if you want to let us know, like, name and age and stuff so we can personalize it a little more, or not even age, but like age range, like you're a teen
or say
or something,
or if you want to tell us who your favorite character is, we can do a little doodle of them.
We do little doodles of the characters all the time.
We'll talk more about that.
We will.
I meant to say it up front at the start of the episode and I forgot, so I wanted to throw that in.
Very exciting stuff.
Very exciting. We both are using the stickers. We both have them on our laptops.
Yeah.
They're very cool.
Going back to the song though, his little gay fucking ladder moment where he goes, what is he saying there?
You show your age, I think is the line. Yeah, he's just such a drama queen all the goddamn time. Yeah. Literally throws his phone. And he's leaning on the ladder, which is such a callback to earlier when Blitz is, like, leading him off the... Blitz, like, shoves him against the bookshelves, and then he, like, dips him by the ladder, and it's, like, such a parallel to that. Yeah, do
you want to talk about the musicality of this?
I do. Hi, everyone. I'm a music student, if you didn't know. Not that any of this is super complex stuff, but...
Let me just say, Audie has been waiting to talk about this song since we started this podcast.
Since we fucking started the podcast.
So I'm gonna let you vamp. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so, the song is essentially 3 verses. There's not really a chorus. And the first verse starts in... It's in the key of G minor, which you don't need to know much about music, just basically that songs in minor keys typically sound sad. And this makes sense because this is Stolas, like, lamenting and being all, like, you know, owl in a cage, you show your age, your sweetness has gone frail. I'm gonna pull up the words, actually, so that I won't sing it, just so you know.
Go to a concert.
Stolas sings lyrics. Bear with me. Okay. Just a reference of what each verse is. So, from the first line, owl in a cage, to the line, by your time on stage, that first verse is in G minor, so it's, like, more sad and lamenty. But then I think actually the word stage is when the key changes and takes you into the next verse, and then it's modulates into just G major, which is so very similar, like, range of, like, notes and tones, but just with, like, a happier feel, because it's him singing about when he first met Blitz, and this is the part where it's, then you walked in my room, until the line, when you look in my eyes, and that's all, like, it's still very bittersweet, because there's the, what's between you and I, just a comfortable lie. What? Which is, we have a whole, I think we just have a note that's just, like, that line fucks.
Yeah.
But Yeah, but that verse is in G major, so it's like more still bittersweet, but it's like it has a tonal shift to a more happy beat, and then it goes back to G minor for the last verse, where he's singing like "Prince all alone upon your throne, your power so frail," until the end of the song, and we've heard Stolas' theme before instrumentally, just throughout the show. Like when he's on screen, the theme will play in the background a lot, but the song ends with him singing the word jail, and there's no instrumental, it's just the vocals at that part. Like the instrumental's cut out right before that, and then he sings jail, and that jail is a G, so it like fully resolves the song, like brings it back to the one chord. It's just one note because it's just him singing, but brings it to the one chord, so to speak. In a way that we haven't heard the theme resolved before. It's previously been left open on whatever chord it is before that. I don't know off the top of my head.
Also, I feel like it's self-explanatory what it means, but just for not music folks, basically that means like makes it sound like pretty and concrete in the ear.
Yeah.
Like nice and solidly ending.
A good way to explain it is if you're singing happy birthday and then you just go at the end, you go happy birthday to. If you were to just stop there, that would be unresolved. It's the you, which is like the one chord of the song, because you go back to the original. And in most cases, a song starts on the one chord. It's like if a song is in C, the first chord of the song will typically be a C. So in this case, it ends on a G, so it goes back to the one. Blah, 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 music stuff. I can get into it in a more complex fashion if anyone wanted me to. I'd love to do a proper deep dive, but yeah.
But yeah, it's basically the most important part is that it doesn't resolve up until this point, the number of times it's in the show.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that it resolves, and it resolves by Stolas singing it, not the instrument. So he resolves the song himself. And I think that is like metaphorical for him finally resolving the problem and deciding to like stand up for himself, which we see later on.
Yeah, with Stella, but then also this is when we first find out about the Asmodean crystals, which I think we have a note about that probably.
Yeah. A note we skipped over is it just says Slade ate no crumbs, freaking feasted this man's vocals. Oh, my God. Did I write that?
I don't know.
I feel like I did, but I don't remember writing that.
Who's to say?
Freaking feasted is something that I haven't used.
Feasted. I don't know if I've ever said that in my life.
I think I definitely wrote it, though.
Yeah.
I've definitely said it in my life, but I don't think I've said that on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what lyrics we have and haven't talked about. But yeah, the lyrics. So as we know, the subtitles, like, on Helluva are written by a real person and they get paid for it, and they put little jokes in, like in Oops, when he's talking about it's huge, it's like a kaiju. The thing says parentheses, I'm being paid to write this.
Yeah.
But for this song, and only this song, I went through and made sure it wasn't other songs as well. Each line ends in a little squiggle.
Yeah, which is so gay.
Yeah, what are those called? Do you know, the little typey squiggles?
It's the same squiggle that goes like in the Spanish, like the ñe. It's called a tilde. I guess that's what it is on the keyboard, but yeah, I don't know. Also, I do want to point out, as funny as it is, putting personal notes and commentary in subtitles generally not the best.
Good. Yeah, and they don't do it a lot.
Yeah.
I think the only time they put personal stuff, except for like little flavor, like grammar things, is in Oops.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, because also I don't think it had consistent subtitling until more recently, so it's definitely a step in the right direction. Although also to have like slightly inappropriate subtitling in Oops is such a funny episode to do it in. Yeah. Or I guess that's more Mammon special, but with like the disability representation, it's like, okay.
Especially, because like they do have ASL later.
Yeah.
But that's not different episode, but that is funny.
Obviously, it's better to have any subtitles.
Yes.
For the most part.
But also, honestly, I feel like the little squiggle, and
the squiggle's fine.
Yeah, but also, and this is not, I am not in the deaf community, so I'm not the person to speak on this, but I feel like it honestly does add a little bit, because the song is so like whimsy and like
sad.
It gives the vibe of it.
It gives the homosexuality.
Yeah.
The F slurness.
Yeah.
We've been discussing. I don't know if we've said the F slur on this podcast. In real life, I say it so frequently because I'm allowed, to be clear. But I don't know if I've said it on here, so I'll refrain.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if someone wants to like fact check us and be like, you have said the F slur in the Q&A, you're so welcome to.
If anyone wants to go through the entire podcast and submit an F slur count, we will send you a free sticker.
We will. Maybe something even better. That would be really funny.
That'd be so I don't know if we've said it at all, so you might just be like, yeah, no, 0.
But that would be so funny.
So funny.
If anyone's planning on doing a re-listen for whatever reason, anyway.
Yeah, you're crazy. I don't even listen to our podcast.
Yeah. And then sorry, just going back to serious business.
Yeah.
The lyric "Time on Stage," I feel like I have talked about this a little bit in another context with Stolas, but I don't remember what it was. The "Time on Stage" lyric really gives queer performance for me, or I guess like straight performance and like queer performance in the like academic sense, if that's what it's called. And just basically performing as straight to appeal to heteronormative society, and also in Stolas' case, familial expectations and societal expectations.
Yeah.
They're the same thing in this case. But yeah, that was like a line, like when we first did the lyric analysis of this song back, I think maybe even before the podcast.
Probably, because we rewatched the whole show in preparation for the podcast, like initially. Which, by the way, the anniversary of the podcast is coming up soon. It's April 9th, I think.
Oh.
Or 16th is April 9th is when we announced it on Instagram. I think it was the Saturday or Sunday after that the first episode dropped. Ooh. So I don't know if we'll have an episode on that day.
That would be so cool if we do.
I'll look. You keep talking.
Yeah. But that made me really crazy. It's not as big of a revelation now, but like when I was first discovering this show, I was like, no way, that's such good lyricism. Yeah. The line that we were referencing earlier is the lyric, "What's between you and I, just a comfortable lie." Capital C, capital L. I said, fucks in all capital letters.
So our next episode after this one will come out April 14th, and our 1-year anniversary is April 16th. So pretty close. We can do something a little special. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely acknowledge it more then, I guess. We could maybe go through some like stats of the podcast and stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Not to just plan out our episodes on the air, but that's what we do. Yeah, and then we get into verse 2, which is the happier, like, "You walked in my room and like sparks in the dark," etc., etc.
Yeah.
Gay boy fucking slays. And it's just about like how how Stolas has kind of been reliant on him for happiness.
Yeah.
In a hashtag not healthy
hashtag
way.
not healthy is what I wrote.
But also, like, Blitz being in his life has changed his life for the better. Even, like, obviously what him and Blitz have is very complicated and harmful in its own way, but just Blitz entering his life again and letting him, like, step into himself in a way, like, finally be like, I'm divorcing my wife, I'm gonna be gay as hell.
Yeah.
Like, just even in that sense, it's very much done something positive for him. And I'd love to see, because I'm assuming if we're right about the next episode, Full Moon, that's when Stolas will give Blitz the crystals and all that. And I would love to see, like, Stolas's, we talk a lot about, like, what will happen with Blitz after that happens, but I'd also love to see Stolas's, like, individual personal journey with some separation from Blitz. I think that'll be so cool to see. Because he, like, there's the classism and stuff that he's got to, like, start unlearning and unpacking, but also just seeing him exist as his own person for probably the first time since he was forced to get married, if not before that, because, like, growing up royalty, it's not like he had a lot of freedom. So, like, seeing him fully embrace that would be cool as shit.
Another thing, too, that I am genuinely I'm really curious about what Full Moon is going to be about, because part of me thinks it is going to be the Osmodian crystal, but also I don't know if Blitz is to show up for their Full Moon meeting, because he's a man of his word, supposedly. He's not really, but, like, he's going to be with Stolas, right?
Yeah.
Is Stolas going to give him the crystal first, or is he gonna let that happen for the last time and then and then give him the crystal? I say this because the only thing we've seen from Full Moon so far is a little GIF that Vivzy posted on Twitter, or I guess the Imp Murder Pros posted on Twitter, and it's like a silly gift of like Stolas like coughing up a feather or something.
Like sitting up and coughing up a feather,
But he is naked in all that we can see.
When the fuck isn't he?
Real, but he doesn't even have his robe on. Yeah. And he is in bed.
Yeah, this is true.
It could be...
Why is he coughing up his own feather?
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's his feather. Like, I don't remember exactly what it was.
It looks like his feather.
Okay, I didn't remember.
But like, who would... Or why does he have his own feather in his mouth? What happened?
I don't know.
Also...
Like a cat?
Yeah.
Coughs up a hairball?
True. So not for sexual reasons.
Yeah.
Not
unless
like
maybe.
Sucking himself off, I don't know.
I mean, possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good for him. Also, I did notice in that GIF, maybe you already noticed this, I didn't look at it too closely until, like, last night, but one of his arms is bandaged still, like, implying, I guess, from, Western energy, but...
Yeah. Or a new thing, theoretically. Because I don't think he was bandaged up at all in Oops.
In Oops, but was he fully clothed in that? Because we just might not have seen it.
Yeah, he was fully clothed.
Yeah, his, like, somewhere on his arm is bandaged, which, yeah, that gives a bit more of, like, a time estimate, also, like, from how much time has passed since, Western energy, which, also, by the way, I realized, what did I realize last night? Oh, I was rewatching a clip from Seeing Stars because I was putting something in our notes for today. And it's on Earth, at least, like when Via and Luna are on, like, are talking at the end and, like, the sky finally clears, it's a full moon then.
Oh.
On Earth, at least, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Because I'd assume that means Stolas and Blitz should have been fucking that day, which makes sense if they weren't, because there's other shit going on. But then also, does that mean, like, how much time has passed since then? Is the full moon gonna be the next full moon from that, or has it already been several I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just interesting.
I think it's definitely hard to figure out from what we have, and also, it would make sense if stuff lines up with Earth, but also we don't have any, proof that it does.
Yeah, we have no reason to believe it does or it doesn't, basically.
Right. And I could also 100% see some type of cycle where, like, it is completely flipped. Because if you think about, like, going under the Earth.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that kind of thing.
But if it's completely flipped, wouldn't the full moon still line up? Sort of? Because full moons are, like, once a month. So...
Yeah, but...
Like, it would...
For, like, the moon going around the Earth, it would be half moon if it's flipped. Like, thinking about it going under, it would be half. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
I think you are, but I think, like, the half moons would be flipped, but if it was a full moon, that would line up, no? Because it's...
I think a full moon on Earth would be a half moon in Hell, and vice versa. That's what I'm thinking.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, real. I could be crazy. But also, this is not the point of this episode.
No. Anyway.
Back to the lyrics.
Yeah, your power is so frail. Homeboy is pushed over.
He is a pushover.
He's a pushover, yeah.
And I think this is him being like, shit, I'm a pushover. I should stop doing that. Essentially, that's what this song is about.
And also, like, just generally need to get his shit together. Stop acting based on other people and just find his own happiness.
Yeah, and I think Blitz easily pushes him over by breaking rules, so that, and Stolas is like fine with that because it keeps him close, and then Stella's the opposite. With her, it's to keep the peace. So I think in this moment he's like, oh shit, I do the same thing for both of these people. I gotta get my fucking shit together.
Yeah. We should pause if we're gonna go to the sex fair, but also there is a Shadow Mewtwo at the observatory, and a few people are going over there to do the raid.
Huge.
So if we're pausing anyway, would it be okay if I also do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are gonna go catch a Shadow Mewtwo on Pokemon Go, and we are gonna go to the sex fair for the raffle. Stardew very strongly halt. It'll only be a fucking second for you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will be back. Okay, we are so back. How long have we been gone?
Like an hour. That was like a split second. We didn't even go to the sex fair. No. We didn't win though. We had a source tell us, but we did try and catch a Shadow Mewtwo.
And we got so close, and then the game froze.
The game crashed. But it's Shadow Mewtwo weekend. It's like an event, so we'll try again tonight. Hopefully, if there's another one. Anyway, that's not what you're here for.
No,
you
you're
don't
not.
give a fucking shit.
We're on our last note for the. That was so loud. I'm so sorry. We're on our last note for the lyrics.
Yes.
Of
You raise your voice, you have no choice.
And this so this lyric is about Stolas finally deciding to use his voice and to speak up.
Yeah.
Mainly to Stella, but also to Blitz eventually, probably.
Yeah, I mean, but also, this being the first episode of season 2 really is setting, like, the arc of this season for sure, especially with, the full moon being the next episode, assuming it's what we think it's going to be, that being, like, just past the midpoint of the season, so it's, like, a big turning point, and it sets up what the season's gonna be so well. People, I know I say this every fucking time, but when people complain about their dynamic and they're like, they haven't even seen each other in like 6 episodes, and why do people ship them? They have no chemistry, blah, 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 whatever. Feel what you want to feel. But like, them not seeing each other this season is just building up the suspense, and I think it's good, is my thing.
I think it will definitely depend on how it's handled.
For sure.
But I think it has the potential to be really good. I agree.
Yeah, shipping characters isn't about them seeing each other 24/7 and being a good match perfectly. Like, that's so boring, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think also there's certain parts of this fandom, particularly much younger people that are in the fandom, sorry to our 11 and 12-year-old listeners that keep commenting your age, which you should not be doing on the internet.
Learn internet safety, children.
But that want kind of like your standard rom-com, like focus only on the relationship kind of thing that is in a lot of other media. And this is just not that kind of media.
Yeah. But also, like, there's a lot of people who, like, really lean into, like, the angst and stuff in this show. And, like, it attracts people who are into that kind of stuff. And then there's people who are like, why aren't they making out? And it's like, shut up.
Yeah, you kind of gotta pick one or the other.
You gotta pick one or the other. Also, Millie and Moxie are right there. Like, if you want a wholesome, sweet relationship, there's one. I
think also people love, like, the trauma and the angst porn.
Yeah.
That's in a lot of shows, and also just a lot of, like, I have not delved into what the fanfic situation looks like for Helluva much, but
I've taken a peek.
I'm sure it's exactly that, because other stuff that's similarly formatted, that's exactly what it is, and so it's probably they're consuming a lot of that, and they want that to be the show, but that's not the show.
That's not the show. Like, consume what you're into.
Yeah, but get that from that source.
Exactly. Yeah, and that shouldn't be the show, quite frankly, in my opinion. Like, you know, like what you like, but that's not what the show is, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think also just a lot of modern shows don't really take the time to build up plots as they should, for a lot of reasons that we could get into that we're not going to put up about.
Yeah.
And so it is, what I'm saying is it makes sense because it is an oddly formatted show given pop culture and that kind of, like, those kind of popular
and it's
shows.
Independent also, so like the releases are all over the place.
Right. But I think this is more what it should be like.
Yeah. Not that the pacing is, like, perfect, but it's a lot better than the Has-Been show, which is, like, you know...
Which is not indie, really.
No, it started indie and now it's Amazon. And, and that show needs to both be so much slower and so much faster at the same time, and I don't know how they fucked it up. Anyway, that's not the podcast. That's not the podcast.
But going back to him standing up for himself, that must be so scary. This man has never stood up for himself before. And so, like, and then the very smooth transition into the fight with Stella. It's just, it's really well written.
The scene with Stella that we're, like, about to get into sort of.
Yeah.
Actually, not really. We're still on the song, just
yeah,
more
the
on
song,
the animation
the
features
animation
of it.
side of it, but this we can probably breeze right through.
Yeah. There's a transition with the cape. I think when he says stage, where he spins
Yeah.
his cape, and then transitions to, like, the voidish area with, like, the figment of Blitz in his mind.
Yeah.
Cool transition. They're stars. I don't really know what that's referring to, but
I think
I
there's
guess.
just stars and, like, the whole, like, silhouette of Blitz and everything, that all happens at the same time, and it's just really cool animation.
Yeah. Yeah, the silhouette of Blitz is really cool.
And Blitz's silhouette disappears on the line that's a comfortable lie, which is, and he immediately is, like, thrown back into reality, which is so cool.
Yeah. And also Stolas looks at the grimoire at the comfortable lie part.
Yeah,
which is,
he, like, is thrown back into reality, and then, is it immediately he looks at the grimoire, or does he look at it and then that's what throws him back?
I don't know, but it
Either
all
way.
happens in very rapid succession, and it's, And then there's the book with the Asmodean crystals, so the thing with we've definitely talked about this before, but just quick recap, the crystals basically allow people to traverse between hell and then the mortal world on Earth. So Stolas's plan, which we hear about concretely in Oops when he talks to Asmodeus, but his plan is to get one of those crystals from Ozzy to give to Blitz so that he can basically separate him from their deal, and so Blitz doesn't have to, like, put up with him anymore, essentially, is his plan. And Blitz is not going to take that well. I'm so excited for the drama. This is going to be the episode of the fucking year. Huge.
Huge.
But yeah, that's the recap of that. And also, I don't think we have it in the notes, but there was someone on Reddit who, like, translated the page of the book about the Asmodean crystals, and back when, like, this was before, that was a great neck crack.
I don't know if the podcast has heard that, but anyway.
Yeah, that was done, like, way before Oops came out. So, like, that was, like, the only concrete canon information we had about the crystals was, like, a translation someone on Reddit did from a book, which also, by the way, super cool minor animation detail, just to throw that in there and, like, let people figure it out that way.
I think if you guys really wanted to know the direct translation, we can, like, find it, and I always say post on the Instagram, but
we never do.
No, we never do.
Also, I don't know if we should repost that person's thing without their permission.
Well, I would say that we could put it on a story with like their, like, a screenshot with their name.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah. Also, I think we wrote it down. But yeah, it's not. I think it basically is just saying, like, what they do.
Yeah, and I think there are some, like, jokes in it. Because, like, it's an animation thing that someone had to deliberately translate, so I think it's written in kind of a funny way.
Yeah.
So, like, if you translate it, it's, like, haha, silly. But, yeah, really cool way of putting in canon world building that then later gets referred back to. Also, Barbie has an Asmodean crystal, right?
Yes, because she goes to the summer camp.
Which, how did she get that? I would love to know.
Well, Blitz is able to get to the summer camp with a crystal as well that he gets from someone in an alley.
Right.
So people sell them.
Right.
And I would be very willing to bet that that's how Barbie got it. Or, I don't know if Barbie has any relation to Fizz still. I could totally see them being, like, gang up, we hate Blitz.
Oh, so true.
And so that's
like,
also possible.
She checks herself out of rehab and she's like, hey, no, I haven't seen you in a while, but we both hate my dumbass brother.
Yeah.
Can you get your boy toy to give me a crystal?
Yeah. And that's also why I need Fizz and Blitz and Barbie in a room together.
Yes. Dude, we'll just get into all of that shit. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, also the succubi, like Verostica and such, they do they also have crystals? Is that how they traverse?
I don't know if they get them just, like, naturally, or if it's, like, Verostica specifically has them from Ozzy, or what, but Verostica does have one.
And she's linked to Ozzy because she performs there,
right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've, like, seen them, like, peppered in here and there, never fully explained, other than in that book at this point, which is just so cool. Such cool world
It also
building.
seems like Ozzy can kind of give them out pretty willy-nilly.
Yeah.
As opposed to the grimoire.
Yes.
Because in Look My Way, the grimoire is noted as, it is expected an oath by blood. And that's just definitely not the case with...
other fluids, maybe.
Whoa! know.
Or blood.
Or blood. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's...
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Which makes sense that it would be less willy-nilly, because the grimoire is for so much other than just getting to the human world. That's one of its many functions and powers, whereas the crystals are purely for that. Like, I feel like there should be, like, some background check process or something for who gets those, but also Asmodeus is one of the 7 deadly sins. I feel like he pretty much gets to make that call.
Yeah.
And if for some reason he fucked up, then I guess Charlie would have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Charlie Morningstar, Princess of Hell, but, like, yeah.
There's also a lot of stuff with, like, what Ozzy cares about, and I feel like people traversing on Earth is not what he cares about.
Yeah. He cares about safe, consensual sex.
Yeah, which honestly, that's his whole thing, and I love it.
I love it.
Also... No, this is not freaking oops. I cannot talk about the parallels.
We keep being like, when we get to this episode, and then we say all the stuff beforehand, and then we actually get to that episode.
I will talk about the Val and Ozzy parallels and how Ozzy would beat the shit out of Val in Oops. I will do that later.
Literally, like, the legalities that probably prevent a full crossover from happening at this point, with, like, Helluva being indie and Hasbin being not indie at this point, or, you know, Amazon associated, the legalities preventing a crossover from happening, like, the plot would be over so fast if they could cross over. Like, Ozzy would kill Val with a gun. Yeah. Charlie would make Stolas and Blitz sit down and talk about their feelings. It'd be over.
Charlie could not make them sit down, though. That's the thing.
She would try her hardest, though.
Stolas would... So calm.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Yeah.
Already. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. Feelings? Okay.
I think Charlie couldn't, but I think... I don't know why I feel like Angel would pick Blitz up and sit his ass down.
I think he could, but I don't think he would. I don't think he'd give a fuck.
No.
I think the Charlie and Vaggie combo, maybe.
That Vaggie's true. Yeah. But I think Angel would be there. I don't know why, but I think he would be.
He'd just be sitting in the corner cracking jokes.
He'd be there with popcorn.
Blitz is like, listen, I'm tired of fucking this big owl guy all the time, and Angel's like, oh, I could fuck you.
Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna say this. He puts him down to talk because he's like, this owl, and you're just giving it up. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But anyway, not on topic.
So Punches is just like, you're going to give him an Asmodean crystal. That's the best I could think of. Anyway, if you want us to hear if you want to hear us talk more about Hasbin, please let us know, because we can do that in some bonus content, as we've said before. We're kind of focused on just, like, staying on schedule with this podcast, but, like, this summer, maybe?
Yeah, something.
Just, you know, if you're interested, tell us, because we want to do it if you want it.
Yes, and also, if it's of any interest, I am currently writing a 13-page essay about gay male abuse representation in Hasbin and how it's bad but interesting. So if any of you want that, let me know.
Put that shit on Medium.
Yeah, I probably will.
Or Ko-Fi.
That's true.
You could put it on Ko-Fi.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll see.
Sorry, we just plan out all of our logistics while recording.
Yeah, we'll maybe get better about that. But
I think you enjoy it, don't you?
You enjoy it. Anyway, let's not sexualize to the sexually whisper to the audience.
Let's do more. Anyway, so Stolas, when he says Prince all alone, at the all alone part, he throws the book about the crystals. And
then he goes, upon your throne. And he's so gay.
Such a gay, dramatic ass pose.
He, like, leans back. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Opens door with magic.
Yeah. He reaches for the stars at the end, which is so...
Yeah.
And then, we've probably said this before, but the sky is red. We're taking that as an indication that it's in the Pride Ring, because the sky is a pretty reliable source.
Also, we talked, I think, in the last episode about how, like, that ties into Hasbin and how Hasbin's red, and we know for a fact that's Pride. Yeah. And so I feel like, at this point, sky is canon. Like, it's the closest to canon it's gonna be.
Yeah. Canon until proven otherwise.
Yeah, and so Stolas, like, when he goes on his balcony, the sky's red. And that's really interesting, because he lives in the same ring as Blitz and all the sinners.
Yeah. I think it makes sense that, like, demon royalty and such would live in Pride, because that's where, like, because the Goetia have, legions of hell that they're responsible for. So... his just could happen to be in Pride, or maybe they all stay in Pride because that's where all the sinners are. And
also their whole problem is Pride, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's so true, yeah. So yeah, it makes sense, but it is interesting. Maybe if he hadn't lived in the Pride Ring, him and Blitz probably never would have met. Like, assuming that Blitz grew up doing the circus in Pride also, which we think is the case. Then, yeah.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
Pride is such a diverse place. Pride is like the New York City of hell.
Yeah.
It's where, like, everyone goes in and out of. And then there's... Oh, I would love to know if there actually are, like, location... I mean, there definitely is, like, location inspiration for each of the rings. Like, Wrath is more of, like, a southern, western... Yeah. And Pride is more, like, city and urban and populated. I'd be so interested to analyze that more.
Yeah. It's also interesting, though, because Greed is, like...
Greed
urban,
is, like...
but also it's very tourist attraction-y.
Oh, because Lululand.
Yeah.
But that's knockoff Lululand.
That is knockoff, but also, like... It seems like the cheap racket tourist attraction. Like, that is what Greed is.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
also kind of like, with all the mafia stuff, it's like the bad kind of downtown, quote-unquote, area, which is, you know, can be problematic. But...
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Alright, the Stolas and Stella fight.
Okay. Oh, by the way... have we talked about the scene that we did for your film class?
No.
Because I feel like we might have mentioned it at one point, where we did a not Alex, but Alex directed it.
Yeah.
And then I was one of the stars in the scene. I played Stolas, and it was just a live action recreation of this scene. You don't mind me saying this, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I am a little embarrassed that it was a film assignment that I turned in. But basically the context of the assignment is it had to be a 3-minute video that used a certain amount of factors for, like, very intro level video production. I had to use a certain amount of, like, editing skills and camera skills and things like that, and I thought that the best way to do that was to do a fast-paced conversation, and I had, like, a week to do it, and so I picked a scene that I thought was very evocative, and that I could direct very well, and that also I knew well, and so that's... I think we were, like, really obsessing over this episode at this point as well.
Yeah, this was last spring when we first got into Helluva, so it was, like, on the brain.
Right, and so I made you and our bestest friend, Connie. Name drop.
Yeah.
Learn the entire thing. You basically knew it.
I basically knew it. I still basically know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just had to bring that up because I do essentially know this whole scene.
Yeah.
Not even just the words, but, like, the actions, which I did not need to know for the scene.
No, we edited it a lot. You needed a little bit, because we did the hand slap thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the directing of that was so fun.
Yeah. It was really fun. And also I had to, like, sit Audie down mainly and be like, okay, is there a time when you felt so sad? Better than that. Yeah. But, like, I had to, like, be like, get him in the mindset of Stolas, which was really funny.
And be like, who makes you angry? And I was like, my mom. Fuck!
But it ended up, like, the recording of it, I will say, was not very good, but y'all's acting was so good.
Thank you. I put my whole bird pussy into
your
that.
Odyssey.
My Odyssey, yeah. Anyway, so okay, opens with Stolas has, like, just finished singing. He's on the balcony, and then Stella approaches from behind, like, immediately yelling, and he, like, jumps the instant that she, like, flinches. Stella is just so fucking audacious.
Yeah.
Just like, what the fuck are you yelling about? Like, girl, you abuse his ass. He can do a dramatic gay ballad if he wants to.
Yeah, and also this is his fucking castle.
Yeah, get the fuck... He asked for a divorce so long ago.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
And I think this was already kind of noted in the fact that we picked it for a film project, but the dialogue here is just really fucking good. Like, it's fast-paced, it's evocative, it is, like, it's natural. It's not like it's very human.
Yeah, and it really, like, sums up, like, everything that we, like, learned in this episode and everything that we know about Stolas and his relationship with Stella. It sums it up in a really, like, cohesive way that doesn't feel like a bunch of, like, exposition and, like, info dumping. It's like it's his genuine... It feels so authentic.
Yeah.
Basically, is what you were also saying. But yeah.
It's just so good.
It's so good.
Like... I obviously, like, the scene is great, and I'm sure you guys all agree, but I also just urge everybody to like look up the transcript and just read through it.
Yes.
It is just, it's so good.
It's such a good scene. Even if you like nothing about Helluva, which I doubt, unless you hate listening to this podcast, but I doubt that's the case if you're here. Even if you don't like the show, though, like, this scene is just, there's something very objectively well written about it, and I'm a really big fan of it. Like I said earlier, it really seals the deal for me that this is probably my favorite episode.
Yeah.
At this moment. Oh, by the way, we keep forgetting to do this. The most recent episode, as of now, is still Mammon's musical special. Yeah. We kind of alluded to that because we said Full Moon isn't out yet.
Yes.
But
we need to, I think when we start, we're gonna, like, we make another note document that's not threaded from a bunch of other ones because we're still on the first episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna write, like, this is the most recent episode, so we say it in the beginning.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for remembering that.
Yes.
I think bit of a hard pivot.
Yeah.
Stella is not threatened by Stolas at all until the very end. Maybe.
Yeah, even then, definitely not physically threatened.
Not physically threatened, but...
Because he's, like, pointing and gesturing, like, all, like, you know, emphatically, and she's just, like, not flinching. Whereas she points and he, like, flinches backwards.
Yeah, but Stella also, like... She feels like at the end, I feel like she doesn't feel this way as much, but in the beginning, she feels like she can do anything to this guy. Yeah. Like, she can hit him, she can yell at him, she can make him do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
And I think that is really telling of how their dynamic has been thus far, because very clearly, that has been the case. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
That is upsetting.
It's so upsetting. Stolas did fucking everything for Via, which is so sad, because we know how Via feels. You know, she thinks, and this isn't Seeing Stars, which, by the way, we are not getting
to Seeing Stars. Sorry, guys.
You knew that already from the title, but, and the description, but, you know, in Seeing Stars, we get into Via, like, why does he hate her more than he loves me, is what she thinks is true, but it's just so very much not the case. Like, he hates her, but stayed with her this long for her. Yeah. And obviously complicated, as is in real life when parents are, like, staying together for the kid. Mm-hmm. Not that that was, like, the mutual agreement. No. That's just Stolas being like, okay.
That's Stolas' thing, and then Stella's like, okay, so I'm gonna write on this.
Yeah. But, like, that's, like, he only married her to have Via. Like, that was required of him. But then he only stayed with her because of Via, and just everything he's ever... I thought that said an hour and 52 minutes at first, and I was so scared. Sorry, we just did a time check. Yeah, everything he does is for his daughter, and she doesn't think that's the case, and it's so upsetting.
Yeah, not only the Seeing Stars thing, but also in Lululand, the are you gonna run off with him, are you gonna run away where I can't find you?
Yeah, if...
Like, the fact that he does everything for Via, and again we see that really unhealthy codependency there, that we saw with Blitz, where he puts everything and all of his happiness into his daughter.
Yeah.
And for her, like, I think there's so much there. There's, like, the fact that Stella's probably coaching her and complaining to her and telling her, like, this is what your dad's gonna do, like, you should know better. And then also, like, the fact, like, all this stuff makes me crazy.
And also, it's just, Via, when you think about it, has so much control over the narrative, because, like, Stolas and Blitz, they could, like, fully get their shit together, have that conversation they need to have, and then be like, alright, we're gonna be together, like, all's good and dandy, and then if Via was like, I don't want you to be with him, Stolas would drop everything. Yeah. He would do whatever was best. Yeah. He thought was best for her.
Which is, I think that Via's whole, like, dynamic with Blitz, even though it's very small, is very interesting, because she has full right to be like, I hate him. Yeah. But she doesn't.
She doesn't.
She is around him and doesn't complain. Oh, like, on camera, at least. Yeah. She likes Luna.
She does like Luna. She hates when that, like, her dad takes more time to be with Blitz than her. Like, that's when she gets upset, but it's not at Blitz as a person, which is honestly extraordinarily mature.
Yeah, that is not the standard reaction to that kind of situation. Like, she would have every good reason to hate his ass. Yeah. And she doesn't.
And also just from, like, a standpoint of pop culture and media, like, that would be such an easy route to go for her character. Yeah. And granted, we haven't seen her interact with Blitz very much at all. But, like, it's much more nuanced than that, it seems. It's not just like, oh, I don't like that my dad's spending time with this guy, therefore I don't like this guy. It's like, I don't like that my dad's giving him so much attention, but her actual feelings towards him are more, you know?
I think also the fact that the show is based on Blitz, they really could have gone that route, and it would have been a lot easier. But they don't. And so that it's very interesting.
I love Via. I kin her ass so much, and it's so unfortunate. And I want more of her all the time.
I would love to see. I see a lot of art and media, like fan media, online. Which, by the way, I'm gonna probably stop referencing online media a lot because I'm trying to distance myself. The social media is crazy. But.
This place is a freaking hellscape.
But I see a lot of people doing like stepsister kind of stuff with them, and like which I do like, but also I don't know that they would be a family dynamic. I don't think that they would.
No.
I think that maybe like they would go do stuff together, but I don't see a world where like Blitz and Luna move in with Stolas and Via. I don't see that, at least not in near future at all.
But I do see the sisterly dynamic between Luna and Octavia a lot. Like
100%.
I think I could see. Also, I think Luna. I hope we see more of their friendship developing,
Me too.
Especially outside of them complaining about their dads. But you know,
I think it's a good entry point, but I think I would like more of their actual lives and feelings.
I could very much see Luna like getting Octavia out of her shell a lot and being like, "Hey, come on, we're gonna like go to the mall or whatever the hell equivalent."
Brings her to a fucking party.
That would be irresponsible, but. She is 17. But still, Luna's like 22.
Also, Luna is still new to parties. I don't think that would happen.
I don't think she would either.
It would be funny.
But she just like takes her shopping.
She takes her to Earth.
For real this time. She's like, alright, come on, let me show you the good place. LA is garbage.
I would love to see more of them as well. But I just think it's gonna be more of like a friendship. Like, I've referred to it as a younger sister, older sister dynamic, but I wanted to clarify that not actually in the way that I see them as stepsisters. I see them as like mentor and mentee. But also friends.
They have a fun bond, and it should be
This isn't to say that they could not develop a relationship further, and like them all moving in together isn't something that could happen eventually. But I just don't see it now.
Also, sorry, I know we're on such a tangent, but what was I gonna say?
Oh shit.
Oh no, shit. Wait. God, you guys don't understand how hard it is to remember what you were gonna say when you're doing a podcast, because you feel the need to keep talking to fill the silence, and you cannot think of what words were just in your brain.
Yeah, do you know what was it about?
It was about... Oh, I remember. Okay. It's gonna be so fucked up and painful when inevitably Stella and Andrelphus also are like using Via against Stolas, because that's very clearly the next move. Like, the thing with Stryker, and also, like, if they acknowledge, like, if Stolas dies, everything will just go to Via. It won't go to Stella. So they're definitely... Via is gonna be in, like, imminent danger so soon, and that's gonna make me go crazy.
I could also 100% say, like, I do think her being in imminent danger is gonna happen. I also... would not be... I don't think Stella's as abusive to Via as she is Stolas, but I wouldn't put anything past her. Especially because Via doesn't have any friends. Via doesn't go out. And so Via doesn't know that that's not how a mom acts. And so I think also I would love to see, like, after the conversation they had in Seeing Stars, which we'll get into, obviously, I would love to see... Via stand up to Stella. Be like, no, he's not gonna do that.
I want to see... We haven't seen Stella and Via interact, like, ever.
No. We've seen them in the same room, but we haven't seen them, like, really interact.
And I really want to know what that dynamic is, because I imagine Stella is just kind of, like, extremely, like, emotionally distant, neglectful, like, doesn't care about her, and then when they do interact, like, talk shit about Stolas the whole time, and then, like... I can't imagine is very nice to Via. Just generally doesn't care.
I could also 100% see her as like a micromanagement mom and a neglectful mom off and on. So Via like just doesn't know what her relationship is.
Yeah.
Where she's like, oh my god, like, you need to do this, this, and this, and like, you need to be better, like, your appearance and all of this and royalty and blah blah blah. Whereas Stolas is like, oh, my little emo daughter, here's your little beanie with a crown.
I was just thinking, there are no mothers in this show who are both good and alive, except Millie's, but we barely see her.
And she's like a mid mom.
She's like fine,
both her parents have big flaws.
Yeah,
but also they're
not like abusers.
Yeah.
They're just kind of have expectations for their daughter that aren't fully reasonable, but like they're fine. They're doing their best, probably.
Yeah, they also the freelance thing. I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Freelance isn't free work, Ma.
How's the freelance going? It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, that was such a tangent.
Yes, we say we need to get through this episode really quickly, and then we do that.
Yeah.
Back to the fight.
Yes.
So you mentioned this a little bit. Stolas doesn't get into Stella's space at all.
Yeah.
He's really respectful, very mature about the whole thing, and in control, even though he has literally just had a breakdown. Like, he's at his breaking point.
Yeah.
This is him, like, at the worst.
Yeah.
And
Homeboy just had a bad first date.
Yeah.
Got drunk off his ass.
Might still be a little drunk, might be hungover, which is worse.
Yeah. He's just fully having a go of it. And, like, yeah, he's, like, getting, like, emotional and, like, you know, being actively angry and like, saying, but he's not like, he doesn't go to literally slap her like she does to him. He also doesn't get in her space.
The only time he doesn't get in her face at all, but the only time he maybe gets in her space is going, you and me.
Yeah.
To like really reel her in. Mm-hmm. That's the only time. Other than that, he's like very distant from her.
I'd say the only other part is when she goes to slap him and he like stops her hand. But
that's self-defense.
That's self-defense, and he's very much.
And he very well could have like that. She got violent at him. That kind of gives him the invitation to go violent at her.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He just stops her from hurting him.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I imagine is something he's never done.
Yeah. I imagine if anything, like. In the past, he's probably never stopped her, like, the way that, and we're getting to the slap, not to jump ahead, but, like, the attempted slap, it very much gives the energy of, like, she has tried and succeeded at this before.
Yeah.
And with the confidence of someone who doesn't think her hand is going to be stopped, she thinks she's going to make contact with his face.
And she's just, it's not like because a lot of times with, like, violent scenes, we see, it's, like, hitting usually comes when communication can't be given otherwise, so like verbally and things like that. It's when someone can't communicate otherwise, so they use their hands.
Yeah.
But that's not like what this is. This is power.
This is power.
This is her calmly continuing, not calmly, but like very composed, continuing her point and bringing our hand to slap him at the same time. And also, the fact that the catch is so calculated, I feel like this exact thing happens very often.
Yeah, definitely.
And
also, like, if anything, like, if he was going to react at all, she'd probably want him to fight back.
Yeah.
You know? The fact that he just stops it and won't engage with it pisses her the fuck
Which
off.
is the best way to mediate an abuser. Or, like, that's what you always tell kids to do for bullies, is ignore them and, like, not give them...
don't give in to
don't give them their satisfaction of like getting your reaction out of it,
which is complex because like that's how kids get the shit beat out of them sometimes.
100%.
It's complex, but
but like
in this situation
it works perfectly.
So good. Perfect response to Stella. I don't know consistently how much it would work, but for like this very first time where he's like, no, I'm not letting this happen.
I don't want to engage with you. I want the divorce. I am not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna stoop to your level. Yeah. And it's beautiful. So circling back a little bit to him being so composed, I do wonder how that interacts with the excitement being unbecoming of a Goetia. Obviously, excitement and like anger and sadness are completely different things, but I feel like he's taught from a young age to mask his emotions. Yeah. And he's learned how to undo that. And so, is it a fact of maturity, or is this the amount of emotion he's capable of showing?
Right. Yeah. God.
Like, is
you
he...
and me both, gay boy.
Is he physically unable to show anger?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's some nuance there.
Yeah. So, and then we got into this mostly, but the opposite of Stolas, like, refusing to step into her space, Stella, like, fully jabs her finger into his chest, goes to backhand him, most likely happened before. We also had a note of, does it go back to his dad? Like, did his dad...
I didn't see that you wrote this.
I responded, why would you say that in the notes?
I wrote the notes from our notebook, and then had Audie write some of the ones that I didn't know what they said because of his handwriting, or I didn't know what they meant.
I'll be honest, there were a few I didn't know what they meant either, so I just cut them out. I tried my best to figure it out, though. I rewatched scenes and everything.
But so we did them at different times, is what I'm saying, and so he reacted, like, days later.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But yeah, obviously his dad was very neglectful and just shitty, but, like, were there times where it was abusive in a more physical sense?
Yeah.
Also? Maybe not in when we saw him as a kid, but, like, his teen years we don't know anything about, you know?
Yeah, and we see him get the back of his head slapped as a kid.
Right, yeah.
So I always had candidate as a dynamic of, like, most discipline is not handled by his dad, but if it's bad enough, he goes to his dad.
Yeah.
And he gets beat, or he gets, like, something equally as bad.
Yeah.
Like, having to go to dad for punishment would be, like, horrible. And that's how I see it. Like, the little nanny guy and, like, the other people that are around, discipline him for the most part. But that's what I always just imagine.
I'd also just imagine, like, the very few times he interacts with his dad, like the little slap on the head, from his dad when he was a kid. Like, I don't think he interacts with his dad often enough for that to be, like, a regular thing at this point in his life, but I'd imagine anytime he does interact with him, his dad will casually do things like that.
Yeah.
Just, like, you know, like, no, he bows to us, idiot.
Yeah.
Like, anytime, just, he just doesn't give a fuck about his well-being in any sense, so it will come out in the most casual of ways.
I think also I can 100% see his dad as he's generally pretty nice to him. Like, he doesn't really interact with him, so when he does, he's generally pretty nice.
Yeah.
But, like, little things like that, he's like, oh my god, why don't you know that? And just, like, training him like a dog. Yeah. Not that you should hit dogs. Like, you get what I'm trying to say.
And then also, with, with his dad being, like, generally nice to him, it's also... Because when he's, like, giving him the grimoire and stuff, that's a scenario where, like, he needs Stolas to do something. Yeah. Like, he's being like, hey, by the way, this is your responsibility for the rest of your life. Right. And, like, he's just, you know, if he's being nice, I think it's just out of, like, needing something from him. It's not where he's like, oh, my lovely son. It's like, hey, my lovely son, by the way, here's your job now, kind of thing, you know? Like, yeah. Yeah. Not really related to all of that, but just a small note about the scene and the animation in it. Stolas' eyes are really red, like, more red than we've seen. They're very bright in this entire argument, which I just think is interesting. Like, I wonder if there's other things with the eyes, and, like, I know that his eyes are a lot more red in his demon form, so was it, like, holding back from that? Like, I would... Yeah, because we see in Lululand when he turns that fucking guy to stone, like, his eyes, like, glow red. Yeah. And when he's with... in Western Energy, like, we know his eyes glow red when he's, like, using his power. So, like, them glowing in this sense, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's doing anything, like, magical actively, but it could be, like, bubbling close to the surface. Yeah, like a fight or flight response almost. Yeah, like, he's so emotional. Yeah, and so scared. Because his eyes aren't super red in the song. That's the thing. It's during the argument. Yeah. So it's, like, it's a fear thing. It's a fear response, which is... upsetting. Yeah, and then Stella, her last line in this whole fight is, I know you'll pay for it, which she just fucking loves making him miserable. She does, which, yeah. You know, when this episode came out, we didn't know what that would lead to, but then Western Energy happens, so it's, you know, she hires Stryker and all that shit, or rehires Stryker. She already tried to get him to kill Stolas. I want to know what happened there. Like, did Stella, like, obviously Stryker didn't get paid. But also, like, did Stella give him repercussions in other ways? Oh, for, Harvest Moon? Yeah, for failing. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny that she... Oh, no. Oh, yeah, she did hire him again. So, yeah, why did she hire him again for Western Energy, but
because he's the best hitman.
I guess. So yeah, like if he can't do it, who the hell can? Also, he has the gun that can kill demon royalty. Yeah. Carmilla Carmine gun.
Yeah.
Did we end up talking about that? I think we did. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but and then we like back to her loving to make Stolas miserable, like in Western Energy when Androlphus is like, if we kill him, like you're not gonna get anything, but she just so badly wants him dead.
Yeah,
like she's almost
she literally throws a hissy fit.
She throws a hissy fit. You're a grown ass woman.
Yeah, not a hissy fit. That's a bad term. More like a temper tantrum.
A temper tantrum, yeah.
She also like. You won't laugh?
Yeah.
Like, girl. Also, I don't know if I talked about this in the first part of the 3-part The Circus. Yeah. But the whole thing with the We're Not Divorced party, like, that is so much control.
Yeah.
Like, that is her being like, we're not divorced, and I'm an abuser. She doesn't say that. And I know that you can do nothing about it.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do anything about it. And I'm going to make you feel miserable about that.
And then he fucking does.
Yeah, which is so... I love it.
The next day is when he's like, we're getting a fucking
when they're
divorce.
literally having tea after the party. Like, those people definitely spent the night.
Yeah.
And they're just having tea.
Yeah.
Like...
He's like, by the way, I just fucked some imp. And we're
getting a divorce,
that
bitch.
Was the sound of a fucking divorce. Also, it's not in the notes, but we gotta mention the gay-ass sigh after the
yeah.
He goes, which I did in our reenactment, and it was so much fun.
We obviously have to ask Connie about this, and if you're okay with it.
Oh, God. Putting the
Kofi.
If people pay us for it,
we charge $30.
I actually never watched the scene after it was done. I am in a better place mentally now. I fully planned on watching it, and then you were like, oh, here it is, and I was like, I can't see myself on video, but I think I could watch it now.
Honestly, most of the bad part is the editing, and also the fact that we tried like 7 different ways to get this audio correct, and it is so bad, so maybe we won't put it up.
Maybe. We'll revisit it and see.
If you guys want to learn more about that experience, we could do that more in the Q&A. If you like, go back to last episode, comment on that Q&A about that was asking about the Q&A questions. We can definitely put more stuff. Like, I can give the full story. I'm just trying not to go into all the film terms right now. But it was such an experience. It took like 6 hours.
Did it really?
It was more than like 2 or 3. I know that.
Filming and editing combined, you mean? Because I don't remember filming for that long. I could be crazy.
I don't know about filming and editing. I know that it took more than like 3 hours because we had planned for like 2, and it took significantly longer than that.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Can I take this last note or lead into the last note? Yeah. So at the end of the fight, as like the credits are coming on, like end of the episode, the Stolas sings instrumental plays, like Stolas' theme, but then it like transitions into the Blitz and Stolas theme, like when the credits start, and like it's such a seamless transition that to me it seems as if they're the same song, and we're gonna like hear it culminate in that eventually, which is so funny because we have a musical project that we never work on, but like one of our very initial ideas about it, which I think was inspired by Stolas' Gay Little Ballad, but for a different reason. We wanted like a song, like 2 characters to each have their own distinct theme and then like come together later on. Motifs that come together into one romantic motif when they like kiss or whatever.
Yeah.
So if that's the case here, crazy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I do want to say that the big reason our hiatus on our musical project happened is because we independently thought of a plot and we're so proud of it, and like characters, world building, everything, and then someone was like, hey, that is the same thing as Nimona.
That was me. I read Nimona and I was like, oh,
right. Well, no, also Connie had said it.
Oh, she had? I don't remember that. My bad.
But neither of us had read or watched it.
Yeah.
And so it is not the same, and we're gonna make tweaks so it's a little different. But yeah, that originally, because we were like, shit, someone did it.
Yeah.
We thought we were so revolutionary in our ideas.
And then we also have an Invader Zim musical that we want to write. Probably won't ever do anything with it because copyright.
Yeah.
Unless we can get... Well, I don't think Richard Horvitz has the final say, but if we can get him on board, then we're golden.
Richard Horvitz, the grown man playing.
Yeah, in the musical, the stage production.
The stage production.
Even if we just did a soundtrack and we got him to voice it? That's fine. He can voice a child again.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say he does. Moxie is not a child.
Moxie's not a child. And Zim is also like 160 years old or something.
He's a child. He's a preteen.
He's supposed to be a child. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not what this was about.
No.
But yeah.
That's everything?
Yeah.
That's the circus.
Do we want to talk more about newsletter merch?
Yes. Okay. So merch is a Big Cartel link, correct?
Yes, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be. Okay, that will be in our... By the time this releases, this will be in our link tree. By the time this releases, or the day after?
On Monday.
On Monday. Day after. So if you're listening to this right when it comes out, then the following day, Monday, April 1st. It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. So starting then, you can visit our link tree, which is on our Instagram. So Double A Discussions on Instagram, and then our link tree is in our bio, and that will have a link to our Big Cartel, which is where you can find our merch. It's just stickers at the moment. But again, if the demand is there, we'll see what we can do.
We also, for this first drop, have a very limited supply, so get them while they last. We will most likely be getting more stickers, like that's almost a definite.
Yeah.
Especially if they sell out. And if they sell out, like, relatively fast, we will definitely be getting other merch.
Yeah.
So if you buy a sticker, feel free to let us know. Or if just let us know what you would like other than that. We've talked about, like, pins. We've talked about shirts. Like,
that can be our Helluva Q&A this week.
Yeah.
What other merch would you be interested in? And then, if enough people buy stickers, we'll see what we can do. But yeah, and they'll be super cheap. I think we said...
$3 with free shipping.
$3 free shipping. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Cheap-ass sticker. And it'll also come with a personalized note from us.
Yeah.
Like, definitely. Like, no extra payment required. You'll have a little personalized message.
And I do want to say, like, $3 comparatively to a lot of other sites and, like, podcasts and stuff, that is a little more on the pricier side because they are just 2x2 stickers. Yeah. They are really good quality.
They are. I love mine so much.
Yeah, they're, like, really good quality stickers. And also, since it is our first drop and we... don't have, like, a full setup thing and we're not buying them, like, in a huge bulk. Yeah. They are, like, more than $1 a piece to produce. Yeah. So we are actually not, like, between shipping and that, we are not making a lot of them.
No.
I just wanted to say that, like, they are a little more expensive, but we are not making a lot. Like, Yeah,
we're mostly doing this just because we want to. It's not like we're trying to have a get-rich-quick scheme or anything here.
And we're doing it because we know that it's been of interest to you guys. Yeah. And... also, we would just, like, we love them, we love having them, and then it's also just so fun to know that, like, people would buy them and, like, have them on their computers, their water bottles, whatever. Yeah. It's just very exciting for us.
Also, the website that we got the stickers from is called Sticker Blitz.
Yes, that was...
We could have gone with others, like, for price reasons. We had to go with Sticker Blitz. Because it's fucking Blitz.
Yeah, it was, like, I was looking at TikToks or Pinterest videos, one of the two, and looking at, like, other small businesses and content creators and what stickers they use, and there was, like, a list, and Sticker Blitz was, like, top, most recommended, and I was like, we have to. So yeah, they're good quality, and they'll have personalized notes.
Yeah.
Where
get yourself a sticker, get yourself a little sticker, get one for your friend.
Yeah, and also, again, I'll double check this, but you should be able to leave comments when you're purchasing. So if you want to let us know a little bit about you, favorite character, favorite thing about the podcast, whatever you want to tell us. Yeah. Like, obviously, it can just be a place for you to talk to us if you want. Yeah. But also, we can include all of that in your personalized notes. So the more you give us, the more we can. Yeah. Right.
And those will be private.
Yes.
Like, no one else will see those. I mean, don't, like, send us your full street address, because that's not good practice for the internet. Yeah. But, you know.
Well, they are anyway.
We'll have your street address, because we'll be mailing it to you. But...
not in a creepy way.
Don't give us, like, your social security number.
Yeah, we also, just for security, just so you feel safe and comfortable, we will be deleting addresses once they're shipped.
Yes, 100%, yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah. Do we have anything else?
Newsletter, sign up, especially if you want to get the one that's going out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Again, we don't currently have an archive of them, so, like, if you want the one that's coming out tomorrow, you got to be signed up before tomorrow. So that is also in our link tree or in our highlights on Instagram. You just put in your email, and then you'll get an email from us on the 1st of every month.
We don't spam you.
We don't spam you, just once a month, one email. And then it's everything we did in the previous month, everything coming up in the next month, blah, 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 blah.
And there's cute little pictures of Helluva characters in them.
Yeah, sometimes pet pictures.
Sometimes pet pictures.
Yeah.
Our pets, not their pets.
No. Follow the Instagram at AA Discussions if you haven't already. I feel like if you haven't by now, then you're not going to. But I'm going to keep saying
well, there might be new listeners. It is so important to be there just because like everything we do is there. That's our only one. We technically have a Twitter, but I run that exclusively. Audie has not touched it.
I know. I log in every once in a while, but only so that I can see what Vivzy Pop is posting.
Yeah, the reason I have it is because I don't have a Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's to see what Vivzy is posting and what Murder Prose is posting. I reblog stuff like once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's there too. We should
make a Tumblr.
Yeah.
That's where the fans are at.
That's true. I do not have a Tumblr. That's the thing.
I can make us a Tumblr.
Okay, cool.
I'll make us a Tumblr.
I was in a very dark side of Tumblr in 8th grade, and I have not touched it. Yeah. Well, that's a lie, but I'm not active on it currently.
Yeah.
For that reason. But anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
Merch, follow us.
Merch.
Get the newsletter.
Instagram.
Oh, also, Instagram. I say this every time, but we are always welcome to you guys messaging there, just to talk to us. We've had people message us with feedback on our show, and we'd love to hear what you guys think. So yeah, just like obviously no pressure, but if you want to talk to us, like feel free to do that. Also in the Q&As. I know a lot of people will be like, here's the answer, but also all this stuff about the show, and we love reading them. So yeah, like feel free to message us. Also, if for some reason the comment thing doesn't work on the stickers, you can always message us on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
And say like, hey, I ordered a sticker. This is my name on the order. Mm-hmm. Here's all my information. Yeah. Not your address.
No. We only need that for shipping purposes.
Yes. But, like, just about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you're comfortable sharing. We won't share it with anyone else regardless, but, you know.
Yeah. We basically want to make these little cards and as personalized as we can because we, as people who love other creators, know that means a lot.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we did not get to Seeing Stars. Sorry about that. We will do that in a separate episode. Hopefully it will be shorter. Yes. We'll see. But I know that you guys could probably use a shorter episode. And I know that we could use a shorter episode.
So next episode we'll be Seeing Stars. And then after that it's Moxieland.
Moxieland.
And I can't even bring myself to think beyond that.
That might be a 3-parter.
that might be. Although notes wise, we do have less on that than the circus.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of it's just gonna be like just feelings.
Okay.
But also, fuck. What was I gonna say?
So true, bestie.
Oh, we do not have I wanted to say, since we're talking about the Q&A episode so much, we are not going to have a definitive, when we're going to do that until we have, enough questions. We've got, 5 or 6 right now. Mm-hmm. But keep sending us those. Both, that poll is still active. It should be for another, month or so.
Yeah.
And then also, questions on Instagram. We're not going to do an episode until we know we'll have, at least 30 minutes of content. Mm-hmm. So keep sending us stuff. We want more.
Yeah. Also, if you want to hear me on another podcast and you're a fan of the Underland Chronicles, check out Return to Regalia on Spotify. It's a fan reread podcast of the Underland Chronicles by Suzanne Collins, and I've guest starred on 2 episodes now.
Do you know what the numbers are, the titles?
I can figure that out really fast.
You should listen to the whole thing. They're great people.
Yeah, I mean, read the books first, because they have spoilers for the entire series. Even if you've read the first book, if you're listening to the content about book 1, they will be talking about the series as a whole, so read the books first.
Very similar to our podcast in that way.
Yeah, it's actually extremely similar format, which is so funny. Okay, I am on episode 31, is the most recent one as of now, and then I'm also on episode bear with me, I can't find it. It's not that important. It's whatever one. Episode 18 I'm also on. And I'll be on a 3rd one soon, maybe. You heard it here first.
Awesome. Yeah, also another thing, I feel like we plugged this way at the beginning and we haven't plugged it since. Yeah. If anyone else is a very big Helluva creator, not, I say very big, but I mean you have a social presence of sorts,
Yeah.
and you're related to Helluva or has been in any way, and you would be interested in collabing,
Yes.
feel free to message us.
We would love to.
We were so into collabs we didn't do any, but we were into like collecting like opportunities to collab on the Dad Pod. We just never did any.
Never did any.
But I feel like this is an easier format to do that. So yeah, feel like literally collab opportunities, like just talk to us. Like our DMs are always open on Instagram. That's the point of it.
Yeah.
That in advertising. So yeah. But anyway,
okay.
We've been talking for like 20 minutes, not about
talk so much. That's got to be everything.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
And we'll see you on tomorrow in our inbox if you're signed up.
Yeah, sign up for the newsletter.
All right.
Okay.
Bye and happy April Fools. Fool everybody.
And happy Easter.
Oh yeah.
Celebrate.
April Fools is more important.
Yeah, and happy Spider-Man Day. I'm not explaining that one. Goodbye.
Say that again.
Stay sexy.